sparkies and sparkettes. I'm not working still, so don't be fooled by the title of this video. There's just been a lot of things, well, I shouldn't say a lot, there's a few things around the house that I've been meaning to change, and now that I'm off, I'm gonna do it while I have the time. But before we get into it, today's video is sponsored by, I'm probably gonna butcher this, Mngarista? Make life easy. This company reached out and asked if they could send some products to me, so I've got two that I'm going to show you. I think both are badge, reel, and card holders. Pending your job as an electrician or contractor or a tradesperson, there's a lot of instances where either if you're working in a factory or certain places you might need a card to get into. I know as a female, I don't necessarily want to bring my entire wallet into a job or leave my wallet in my lunchbox. So the card holders are actually super useful to hold that fob to get into doors, to hold your license, because sometimes you need ID to get into the front door, and also your bank card. So let's open these up. I don't use them on every single job. I know my fiance uses it every day, so I might be nice and give him one of these. So we'll open this one first. This one's a smaller package. Here's the card holder, which is really nice. It's got a hard plastic on the front. And this is the back of it. And it also comes with the keychain. So this is really nice. It can clip into a pocket, your belt buckle, your shirt if you have a pocket on your shirt. And it's got a keychain for any keys that you might have. So as an electrician, you're gonna have keys for job boxes, if you're using lifts and forklifts. And then this part, I'm assuming, attaches onto here. Yep. So that's what it looks like when it's all put together. And it's really hard to pull, which is great. And it's actually, so there's been times where I've gotten a fob and I don't own it, but I've gotten a keychain like this, and this part is actually just a thin string and it's covered with like a thin nylon. But there's been instances where from doing this all the time to get into doors, you actually break this part. But this one looks like it's actually a wire of some sort, so I don't see that breaking very easily, which is good as well. So that's the first one. Not this one's a bit bigger. I don't know what's in here. I don't know if it's just for bigger cards or... This one came with the same card holder, and this one is just a little bit different. This one has the easier clip. This one I actually probably would prefer. This one you can clip onto your belt loop or your belt or even your tool bag. And it comes with the keychain as well. There it is all together. And I'll show you the difference between the two. So the tops are the only thing that's a little bit different. This one comes with this style clip, and this one comes with the clip on the back. Personally, I would probably prefer this just because these, like, I know on tape measures, they usually have this and I have such a hard time. Don't ask me why. I can never figure it out. So I would probably prefer this style. Probably give this one to my fiance. Or if I'm nice, I'll give this, I don't know. I want them both, but I will share the wealth. Thank you so much for sending me these products. I'm super excited to use them. I will definitely link the website and the product pages below in the description if you guys want to check it out as well. Just for a quick little card test, I'm going to put my bank card in there. I was scared about like this falling out, but on the back you can see it's got this little like clip. It's got grippies on the other side of it, so it actually keeps it pretty hard in. And then on the bottom it has a little opening, so you could just push it up and get your card out pretty easy, which is very convenient. I'm gonna try to put two cards in there and see if it works, because usually I always need my debit card and a piece of ID or a fob, and it does hold two cards, which is lovely. I think you could even fit a third card in there, maybe even four. It looks pretty, it looks like it's got a decent amount of room on the inside. Really easy. Perfect. So now I'm going to run out to Home Hardware or Canadian Tire. I got a couple other things to get because my dog is mad at me that I don't have his little dentist sticks. I might pick up some of those and we'll get right into it. I am quite the fashionista today, I must say. I feel like in all my videos I just look like an absolute bum. Sweaters from Owasso Speedway. Jeans are from Garage. They got rips in them. And the socks are Puma. Okay, we are driving to Canadian Tire and Home Hardware. See if we can pick up some dimmers. And I really wanted to try out those those like timed bathroom fans, like, you know, those buttons. So it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15. So we're gonna try to find those. I'm trying to film on my iPhone because I didn't want to bring my giant camera. I have a Canon Rebel that Kyle got me for my birthday one year, and it's just a little big, so we're gonna try this out. I don't know how much room I'm gonna have on my phone, but hopefully it works. Okay, I've arrived. We're in town. I am living in a small town my fiance was from. Our county sign says 9,000 people, and I don't know, there's maybe 3,000 in the town we're at. I could be wrong, I don't know. But basically, if you're from Ontario, you know the small towns pretty much consist of your LCBO, Value Mart, beer store, and if you're lucky, a New Orleans pizza. But other than your basic needs, you're not gonna find much in the small towns. So I just drive, anytime I ever need anything, I have to drive over to the next town, which is always like 20-30 minutes away. And even then, it doesn't have like a ton of things, but it does have a Canadian Tire, a Walmart, the basics, the level up from the basics. So let's go get us some dang dimmers. Maybe we'll take a look around too while we're here. We made it to the section. Now let's find them. I think I have Leviton at home, so I'm gonna keep it the same and get the Leviton. Now for the dimmers, there's a lot of options. I'm not really sure which one I want. Mission accomplished. Now let's go stroll the mall. Okay, there's nothing else good in the mall, probably because we have about 15 stores in there. Now that I got the timer for the fan, the dimmer. I've done dimmers before, but I haven't done these before, so that might be interesting. I'm sure it's not rocket science. But now I'm gonna go to the pet store because my dog is really missing. He doesn't have a lot of treats that he like loves, so I'm gonna go find something there for him and his grannies because he's pissed. Every single morning I let him out and he goes straight to the pantry because he knows he usually gets one right after in the morning, and he's just been very disappointed with us. So I'm gonna go do that, and then we are going to install these together. This is why I can't go into the gosh darn pet store. Look at the little sunshine cookie. I could not get that for Africa. Come on. Grannies. And I got these treats. He's kind of an a-hole every time we give him meat, but once in a while we like to treat him. Okay guys, let's get this going. I am back home. I got all the tools that I think you're gonna need for this. So we're in my our ensuite bathroom. I only got one of those timers for the fans. I'm gonna try it in our ensuite first. We have a guest bathroom too, but we don't really use that shower in there. I think we'll mostly use it in here. I went downstairs and I turned off the breakers that I think they are. If you haven't gone to your panel before, usually it's labeled pretty well. If you had a good contractor in there, it'll either say like upper Rex or ensuite or bathroom Rex or bathroom in general. So I turned off the one that said bathroom and master, so it should be correct because none of the lights are going on and the fan's not going on. So what you're gonna need for this, I can't find my impact and I'm too lazy to dig it out, but you're gonna need a flat, you're gonna need a Red Robbie, maybe a Phillips, probably a green. I brought my level because I'm OCD. You're going to need a pair of strippers. You could use your pen tester if you're not confident that there's no power. I don't like working live. I would rather avoid the zap, you know, because it happens enough. Don't need to add on any more than you need to. So I'm gonna go get the device, open it up, and we're gonna get started. Oh, I thought I was gonna have to like cut this right open, but I don't have to. Okay, so when you take it out of the package, looks like this. Because we're putting it into here, we don't need this single case, so I'm just going to take that off. And then it'll look like that. The back, you'll have your neutral, your black. Black is normally your constant power. Red is probably going to be the switch line. And then this one just says it's flagged. It's for a three-way, but we're not using it in that case. And then obviously your ground wire. They come pre-stripped, but I'm probably going to strip them again. I don't know, we'll see, because it's pretty long. Just open this up now. Do not lose these screws, because I swear every time I lose them, it's so hard to find them on the ground, especially if it's like a new construction build and there's no floors down yet and it's just the plywood that's filled with drywall dust. It's not a good time. These plates are never like easy to put back on. I have a couple tricks that I use that I'll show you guys to get them back on and nicely aligned and level, but they're never completely easy to get back on and off. If you haven't taken covers off in a while, they're probably going to be a little stuck. Yeah. You can usually just pry from the side, or like this was good because it wasn't painted. The devices weren't in before it got painted, so not like you don't have to worry about the paint coming off, but normally I would try my best to just do little by little so you're not ripping paint off and then it looks messy and gross. So this is the fan. I know this is the fan just from because it's my house, but if it wasn't, you can check before you turn the breaker off. Normally the way switches are put in, you go from the most used to the least used. So this would be your vanity light, pot light in the shower, and then your fan. It's either going to be from most used to least used, or left to right is normally like when you first come into the room, what's the first light, second, third, and so on. So I'm just going to start off by taking off the fan switch. I might have to take off other ones just to get in there and make the connections, but we'll see. I wish I found my impact. I should have just got it. I just feel like messing with this. Don't stick your screwdriver in like I just did. I know it's off, so it's okay. But if you do that and it's not off, you're gonna get you're gonna get something. You're not gonna like it. Okay. So when you open something up and you see, obviously it's a single pole. Normally constant power we put on the bottom. Everywhere I've worked anyways, it's normally on the bottom. You can tell if it's constant if the wire is pigtailed in a Mngarista and goes and pigtails onto the other switches. So that bottom one, I believe, oh no, it's the top one. This instance, it's the top one. So top one is constant power, which will go on my black wire. We will fit the neutral into the Mngarista that's in there, and the switch line will be the red one. We'll double check just so it's not on. If you ever like hear it beep a little bit, it's just static electricity. Doesn't mean anything's on. If it's like beeping like crazy and constant, then obviously there's power. Just take this off. So normally these devices come with those dinky little Mngaristas. This one didn't come with any Mngaristas, so I'm gonna have to go dig up some Mngaristas in my pack out. I'm pretty sure I have some. Okay, lucky for me, because I worked residential, I had a bunch of leftover spare Mngaristas in my pack out. We got the blue one, and I grabbed one red one just because I was looking at the back. The neutral pigtail is, I think, already, like if I put one more in, it's going to be over capacity. So thank God I got one of these. You could probably get away with the blue one just because no one's looking at it, but my hair. I'm OCD. I like doing things right. I would rather just know that I did it right the first time, so I'm going to use this. Because I'm not going to be using this one or the red one, I am going to cut and cap them just so it doesn't touch anything. Like it's stripped, so there's some that's going to be exposed. It's already stripped, so there's some that's going to be exposed there, and I don't want that. So I am going to cut a bit off of each one, and I'm just going to throw them right on there so I know it's safe. Nothing's going to touch it. Judging by how this box looks, it's pretty clean inside. Sometimes things are shoved back there and it's not done very nicely, and it's really hard to stuff everything back in, but that's okay. I'll be able to fit that in. So if we look in here, obviously it's going to be hard for me to get to the neutral and the ground, so I am going to have to take this one off quick. I'm not going to undo the connections or disconnect anything. We're just going to let it hang so I could get in there and make proper connections. So now with everything open, I'll be able to get in there really easily and get everything going. It's just an extra step, but it makes your life a lot easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off by grounding. So inside the box, I'm going to take this neutral out. You can see the ground screws at the back there. And I am going to go ahead and put this right on the ground screw. Normally the better way to do it is to put a pigtail from the ground screw to this, but this wire is pretty thick. I think it'll hold well. We'll take that off. I'm going to leave the length just so we have a little extra playroom to get it in the spot that we want it to get to. This wire is stranded. With stranded wire, you always want to make sure everything is nice and tight. I like to give it a couple twists. When you're grounding or putting anything under screws, you want to make sure that you're putting it on the side that when you go to tighten it, it's not loosening. So you'll need a red Robbie. Don't be afraid to push everything out of the way. And that's how it looks. See, I don't love that this is stranded because like I don't think it's gonna come out. You could give it a tug test. It doesn't feel like it's coming loose, but I still don't love that. Maybe if I could find some spare wire, eventually we'll change that, but it's good for now. So next, I like to do the neutral next. I'm gonna take that right off. This is a smaller piece of stranded wire. I forget off the top of my head how many neutrals you're allowed under a bloomerette, but I mean, bigger is not gonna hurt it. I like to place it on there, kind of place it in one of the grooves so that you know it's gonna catch. And then I try to give it a little bit of a pre-twist and then throw the moret on there. And I'm sure like everyone does things differently, so... Oh wait, what am I doing? I do need I do need the red. I don't know why I kept that. So we'll go ahead and re-strip this because this is going to be our switch line. I like to strip about that much, maybe a little less, but we'll see how that works. And then we'll take this off. So again, this is the one with the pigtail. I know it's going to be my constant power, so we'll put the black on there before I put the moret on, but because it's stranded, you can do it yourself. You don't need a tool. And now the switch line, we will put that here. Give that a little bit of a pre-twist. Straighten it out. Never want the stranded or the solid to be longer than the other just because sometimes it gets caught up in the moret and it doesn't seat in properly. There we go. So those are our connections. I'm gonna nicely put this into the box. This is why you should wear gloves. Oh man. Don't be afraid to push in there because nothing's gonna happen. As long as the connections are good, it should be fine. I like to give it a nice little push before I start leveling and putting the screws back in. Oh, see, I missed one. Just tuck that in there. Sometimes with the morets, you have to put them in different directions just because they can't all be in the corner, especially with a device like this that has a lot of surface area going into the box. And that's that. Now we're gonna put the screws back on, get the cover on, and we should be good to go. So you can grab your Phillips again. This is the part that I hate, that I should have grabbed my impact for. A trick I like to use, after a while you kind of know about what spacing you need for the cover. And if I know this one's level, then usually I match up the edge with that edge. And you should be okay. Sometimes you still need your level, but for the most part, if it's done right the first time, you're usually good after that. So sometimes I'll do it loose first and I'll just double check that the cover is going to go on. Looks like this one has to come over a little bit. Ah! What the heck? You don't need to crank it on necessarily. You just want to make sure it's not going to go anywhere and it's going to sit nicely in the plate. It's not going to look like it's should be tightened or it's too far sunken in. So as you can see, I think it's going to fit. You should be okay. Put that over there. And again, see, like, because it was only a little bit loose, I have a little bit of play. I think these ones naturally stick out a little bit more than these ones do. But for the most part, I think we are good. So when you're putting the cover back on, something I like to do if they are a little too loose or if I'm having a hard time, I will do corners, kitty corner at first, do the other kitty corners, and then naturally the middle two should go together. This is bugging me. I feel like it's too far in. And always, for the love of God, please put these set screws upright. Please. It bothers me so much when they're like this, or all of them are different like directions. Just take the extra time and do it. It's not rocket science, you know? I don't know why people do it any other way. Never want to tighten these too much because in the sunlight you'll be able to see like the actual indent, and it doesn't look very nice. As soon as you start feeling it get too hard to do, you just stop. So this is the final product. I'm going to go turn on the breaker and see if it works. Okay, I turned it on. It's a moment of truth. Light, another light. Oh, hallelujah. It's the best feeling when things work. Yay! Off. We're good to go. I like it. I clean this, boy. All right, my friends, the next order of business is this switch. This switch controls all the pot lights in our living room, but it's just like an on-off. I turned off the breaker and they're not on, so bingo. So we're gonna change this one to a dimmer, just because at night it's like blinding. Like, it's not nice. My eyes are sensitive. I don't want that much light at night when I'm just trying to chill out. This infamous light has been with me through, she's dusty too, has been with me. I think I got her and I was probably 15 at IKEA, and she is still kicking. She's still around, but it would just be nice to have a dimmer. You know, I don't want to have to turn this thing on all the time. I feel like a dimmer is classier. I don't really love this, so I'm probably gonna throw it out after or replace it. But yeah, she needs to go. She's had a good run. It's been her time. We're done. Okay, so this is the dimmer that I ended up going with. These, you need to make sure that they're either single pole or universal or 3-pole, whatever you need. In my case, I needed the single. And this one says it's good for 120 volts, LED, incandescent. They're usually pretty good for everything, but open this baby up. So because it's single pole, you will only have 2 blacks and a ground, obviously. And these were the dinky little marks that I was talking about. I don't like these, they're just garbage. They don't hold on to the wire very good. You can't see them very far. It's just, they're garbage. So when you're setting these up and you're making the connections, usually when you're looking at it, the left is the line, right is the load. So this one's gonna be my constant power. This one will be the switch line to the pots. And when you are screwing these into the box, you wanna make sure all of devices say this on the top. On the top somewhere, it's gonna say top, it'll be labeled. So just make sure that when you go to screw them in, you have it facing the right way. So again, I'm gonna get this open and we're gonna get started. I messed up. I didn't check this before I left the house. This is actually a 3-way, which means that one is no bueno. No good. So I'm not going back out now. If you look on the back here, I turned the breaker on, that's why I'm not gonna touch it. But there's 2 poles there and one on the other side, which means it's a 3-way and it can be controlled over there. For some reason, I thought this one you can't control over there, but you can. And on this one, it's only got 2. You need a 3rd, so I really wanted to change this today. I might go check the home hardware in my town. It's like a 2-minute drive. And maybe change this. I really thought it was only a single pole. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Let's get in the car. Okay, crisis averted. So this is the Leviton one. Home hardware only had the Eaton one, which the difference is, I don't know. I don't love the switch down here. Like, I just think this is a much cleaner look with just the slider, but this is gonna have to do for now. It's fine, it's all good. So across different brands, you'll find, like, for example, the Leviton one had the wire, the stranded wire coming out of it. For the Eaton brand, the 3-way, it has the terminals. So you just insert the wires from the box right into the terminal. Usually for 3-ways, they're pretty good at labeling. So for example, it tells you exactly what size or what length your wire has to be. And then on this side, it says if you're using this for a single pole, you don't use this terminal, keep it covered. But if you are like we are, we can take this sticker right off because we need access to it. So this is still off. I'll take the wires off here, replace it with this one. And it comes with the screws. we should be good. So before you actually take this off, you might want to pay attention to which wire is on the black screw, because that'll be your common, which is your constant power. So I know this black needs to go on the black for this one. So just be careful instead of just ripping it off and assuming you know what goes where. Don't do that. That's the only real tricky thing about three-ways, to be honest with you. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Side is set. Again, this one also says top, so it will be facing this way because, yeah. I like to give it a little tug test. It's good, and then we'll complete the other side. Tug test, we're good to go. So before I actually put this all back together, I'm gonna go downstairs, flip on the breaker, and see if this works. It should. And I'll also show you how to test three-ways. So as you might be able to tell, the lights do work. That's that light, but my pots are still on. They're on full brightness because it's at the top. I can turn them off, on, and then it lowers. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I have it on the lowest setting, and as you slowly bring it up, the lights will go brighter. So again, this is like not at all my favorite switch, just because it's like so easy. It's so flimsy here, and then as you get higher, it's like harder to push up. I don't know if that's just because it's new or what, but it just feels cheap. I swear like electrical suppliers have just gotten cheaper and cheaper, but it is what it is. It works. A good way to test three-ways is you can turn it on here, go to the other three-way, turn it off, come back, turn it on, go back, turn it off. If anything is wrong with your neutrals or your travelers are messed up, you'll notice that it won't turn back on or off. So we've got it on. I'm gonna go over there, check if it works. Mine is over here, so I'll hit this switch. So I'll hit the switch and they go off. And then we'll go back over here to turn it on, and they turn on. And one more time I like to do, where is it? Off. And it works. So all is well. We have a dimmer, which will be really nice to watch movies. I'm gonna go turn the breaker back off, just because I feel like I've had bad experiences trying to get this in and do up the screws. Putting it's just, I like just working with it off. It takes 2 seconds to turn it off. And there you have it, the final product. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. Thanks for coming on an adventure. Let me know in the comments what your favorite brands are for devices. I like the Leviton ones. I don't love the Eaton ones, but that's okay. I'll live with this. It's all right. Let me know too if you have any tips and tricks when you guys are doing finals instead of rough-ins. I like rough-ins better, but there's a lot of tricks and a lot of work goes into the finals, so don't knock it. But until next time, guys, bye.